Hey, look at that. I'm live. It's my first YouTube live, so this is going to be a new thing. So what's going on, Military Millionaires? Today I wanted to talk to you. I wrote an article about becoming a military millionaire. Actually, I wrote an article about getting rich in the military months ago, and it was decent, but it wasn't very thorough, or at least not as thorough as I would like. So I wrote a much more thorough article. I think this one is, almost 4,000 words. So I guess this is technically pillar content. The point of all this, though, is that I wanted to just run through real quickly and give you a summary of the 8 do's and 3 don'ts to becoming a military millionaire so that you, oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my shirt. Woo! So branding, and I got my mug. Shout out to my boy I deployed with who made that for me. And I just wanted to walk through this because a lot of people don't understand that becoming a military millionaire is simple. May not necessarily be easy because it requires discipline, but it's simple. All right? Make sense? So first thing I wanted to talk to you about is expense creep. Expense creep is the idea that every time you get a pay raise, or you get promoted or whatever, your expenses tend to grow. And that's kind of natural. People get a promotion, they go celebrate, and they buy something. Not necessarily anything wrong with that. What I would suggest, though, is to buy something that is not a recurring cost. So if you get a $200 a month pay raise, you blow $1,000 on an awesome cruise or experience or something, you're getting to celebrate, you're having some fun, but once that $1,000 is paid back off, your expenses are the same, you maintain your budget, and you pocket the extra $200 a month. But a lot of people will get a $200, $300 a month pay raise and then go, I don't know, buy a $100 subscription to something or upgrade their car, and now it costs another $150 a month, and you basically just eliminated your pay raise. So avoid expense creep. Number 2, pay yourself first. Now this is super critical, especially for someone like me who's not as disciplined as I would like to be. I set up an allotment so that my savings and investment account automatically gets money in it immediately. So if I put a $2,000 allotment in and $2,000 a month goes into that account and I don't have access to it, then I save $2,000 a month. And then the rest of the month, I budget whatever's left over, I'll spend or I'll put in the savings account. If I were to not do any of that and just spend whatever and then put the leftovers in the savings account, it would never equate to that $2,000 because I would spend too much. Number 3, increase your income. I'm not going to dig too deep into this. Side hustles, promotions, whole bunch of that. It's in the article. I'll link below. Investing in yourself. This is huge. You should always be learning something. For one thing, it'll give you some purpose. For another thing, investing in yourself will just help your future, right? Like you think compound effect. Every little bit you invest in yourself, it's not going to do this thing. It's going to eventually compound and take off. And so self-development, personal development is huge. Ultimately, that's why you're watching this right now. So, me trying to improve myself, and along the way started some fun side hustle stuff. All right, so on this article, you might notice that I put a little @ symbol in here to make it look censored, but I'm going to say the real thing here. Number 5 is make taxes your bitch. Sorry if the language offends you. Taxes are awesome. People grossly misunderstand taxes, and they think that taxes are the devil and they're theft. And regardless of all that, guess what? They're a part of life. So if you're going to have to deal with taxes, why not learn the tax code and use it to your advantage? The tax code was created with breaks in mind to kind of help steer you to invest in what they want. So if the government wants you to invest in low-income housing, boom, tax credits for low-income housing investors. So you need to understand the tax code well enough to know what actions you can and can't take to avoid paying additional taxes. A lot of good information in this article about using your 401k, your TSP, and some of that other stuff to your advantage. Making your money work for you. This is huge. There's no child labor laws for your money, right? Like it doesn't have to be your money for 5 years before it's old enough for you to invest it. You can invest it immediately. So the thrift savings plan, index funds, and real estate, rental properties is what I talk about in here. The TSP is something you should invest in at least a little bit all the time. Now, I am not saying that if you don't invest in the thrift savings plan, you're not going to be a millionaire. There are some great strategies. At one point, I almost liquidated the whole thing to invest in real estate full force, but I decided to keep it because it can be used as reserves. It can be used as, I can loan money to myself. It's almost like I woke up at 4 this morning. You can loan money to yourself, which is not necessarily ideal in all situations, but it's a good backup fund, and it'll keep multiplying over the years so that you can continue to invest it. So your TSP is awesome. Some great information about how to allocate and how to use it. Index funds are another option if you want more liquid and it's not your retirement plan. I like the VTSAX and Vanguard index funds, but there's some great ones out there, and it's basically just a low-cost, low-fee index fund. I don't believe that over the long haul, I won't say it's impossible, but not very many people can outpace the market in the stock world. So if a very small percentage of people can do it, I don't like the idea of spending a ton of time trying to do it. I definitely don't like the idea of paying somebody to try to do it, because even if they do beat the market by 1 or 2%, I will still have done better in index fund because I won't be paying fees, and it'll just even out over time. So index funds are great. You just dump money in and you just ignore it and you never pull it out. Even if the market tanks, you just don't look at it and you avoid it, and that's that. Rental properties. Obviously, I'm a little biased on the rental property world. You can see my bookshelf back here. It is a lot of books on real estate and a lot of other stuff too, but real estate's my bread and butter. I'm not going to dig too much into this, but just know that cash flow from real estate, like there's 4 huge pieces to real estate investing. There's cash flow, appreciation, depreciation, and debt pay down. There's additional things as well. It's just a huge way to build wealth, even while you're sleeping, because your tenants are paying off your mortgage, you're cash flowing, property's going up in value, you're depreciating against your taxes. It's wonderful. Okay, this one's kind of controversial. I used it before, but marry intelligently, and I'm not going to spoil the goods in here on what I mean, but a spouse can make or break your finances as well as a lot of other things. So marry intelligently. Network with military millionaires. Networking is huge. And the cool thing is, in the military, everybody gets along. We all kind of, not everybody gets along, but we all come from this kind of background. We all have something in common. Networking is really not that difficult to do with other service members. Now, rank can get in the way because, I can't just go hang out with the general, but it opens a lot of doors. Now, networking with military millionaires, find guys who are doing what you want to do or who have already been where you want to be. So I got this guy out here named Doug Nordman. The whole world knows about Doug Nordman. He is a phenomenal influence on the military community and the military retirement community. I'm reading his book right now on the military guide, and his wealth of knowledge on military benefits, military retirement, and just life in general is huge. And so whenever I talk to Doug and I can ask him a question or two, it is much more beneficial than just hanging out with the schmuck next door drinking a beer. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you need to network with military millionaires and future military millionaires and build your network. The old saying, your network is your net worth, totally true. Every time I hang out with high-level entrepreneurs or investors or business owners, there's just something about it. It just improves your life and takes you much farther down your path. Now, I mentioned that there are 3 don'ts, so this is the pitfalls. Ooh, there's probably a ton more. These are the ones that I made. These are the ones I see most commonly. First one, new cars. Don't do it. And this is coming from a guy who spent a ton of money on cars and bought a Harley that's been totaled, and sports cars. You'll see pictures in the articles. Not good decisions, right? I just bought this car recently. I'm super excited about this. I got a 2013 Jetta. The turbo diesel station wagon gets 45, 50 miles a gallon. Well, 35, 40 with the new emissions tune, but I think you can erase or change that to where it gets good gas mileage again. But great gas mileage, good car, 23,000 miles, almost brand new, looks brand new. I got it for $10,900. It's blue booked at like $13,500 because of the emissions thing. People aren't wanting to buy them. They're being auctioned off dirt cheap. So I got a steal on a vehicle that's really not going to depreciate much more. The last 2 vehicles that I bought, combined them, and if you combine them, I've driven over 50,000 miles between the 2, probably closer to 60. And when I sold them, I got a $3,200 in profit, because one I sold for $3,500 in profit, one I sold for $300 less than I paid. So $3,200 in profit after driving 50 or 60,000 miles on cars, because I'm buying 5, 6, 7-year-old cars that are in great shape, don't need a lot of maintenance, affordable, like a Ford Focus, a Jetta diesel. We have a GMC Terrain right now that we are not upside down on, and you can buy decent cars. I don't drive junky cars anymore. I have been through that point. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'll spend $5,000, $10,000 on a car that is a nice car, a quality car, a family car with a very low interest rate, because I don't, buying cars cash is great, but I kind of like just using that money to invest and paying my 2-3% interest rate. So a lot of cool strategies in there. Don't buy new cars. All right. Tattoos and alcohol. Disclaimer. I put a disclaimer in here with the asterisk thingy. I have 4 tattoos and I like drinking beer. So I say tattoos and alcohol are a pitfall. Everything is okay in moderation, right? Like, I've got tattoos and and some of them were great and some of them were mistakes, and I don't really care. What I would say about tattoos is don't be the guy or the girl who it's like paycheck tattoos, right? Like pay yourself first and save up for your tattoos so that A, you can think long and hard about what you want, and B, you're not getting one every single weekend on a whim that you may either regret or that is going to bankrupt you, because tattoos are cool. They are not worth living to paycheck just because you want a tattoo. I know, it's mind-blowing for the military. And alcohol is fun, but let me put this in perspective. A DUI, which is a risk for anyone who drinks and drives, or drives and has a beard, or whatever. It is a risk, right? It happens to the best of us. There are some pretty high-ranking people in the military who get DUIs. There are pretty low-ranking people in the military who get DUIs. Watch this. The average cost of a DUI in Hawaii, where I am currently stationed, $12 grand, $12,000. Is it worth? Oh, and you can't have your driver's license, and you're probably going to get kicked out of the military, or at least in trouble and lose money. Maybe even have your paycheck withheld, plus a $12,000 payment for lawyers to go see it, to get your DUI erased or fixed or whatever. Like, is that worth it? It's not worth it. Moderation, guys. Moderation. Have fun. Be safe. That's my safety brief voice. Damn, I'm old. Stats aren't. Ugh. Sound like one too. Take all that part out and just think save the money. Budget for it. Wasting time. Opportunity cost. I wrote in here, opportunity cost is a financial sucking chest wound that you're unaware of, right? It will destroy you when you finally realize what you could have been and should have been doing with your money, and you're like, holy shit, wow, this is how much. I did the math. I've got $20,000 less in my TSP that I would have if I had just stayed consistent and known what funds to put it in. I mean, 20, maybe 30, depending on when I allocated it where. It's a lot of money to be missing out on just because I was lazy. So opportunity cost, meaning take action now. Take action continuously. Invest, save, invest, save, save, invest, save, invest. Don't let time pass you by. It is your best ally. A young service member, the best weapon you have is being young and getting started. Even if it's just your TSP, just dump as much as you can in there, and time will work magic for you. I promise. All right, so I put in here too long, didn't read summary. So being a military millionaire is simple. Having the discipline to plan it out is not. So now that you've completed reading this, it's time to get busy. But you need to write out a plan. You need to improve your budget. You need to automate savings and investing. And you just don't stop ever. Just save, invest, save, invest, save, invest. The military, it grows. Boom. The sooner you start investing, the faster you become a military millionaire. Look, these are hit tips. If you found this useful, shoot me some comments, throw some likes up on there. I'm going to embed this in the article. I'm going to link down below to the article, and it's over here somewhere. It's kind of weird because I'm sitting down, but subscribe. We will be posting a lot more stuff. If you like the live video thing, let me know. I'm kind of intrigued on whether I should do more of these, so let me know your thoughts. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.